I've been driving for rideshare services for years. I've seen it all. Drunk passengers, awkward first dates, and even late-night fights. Nothing ever fazed me. That is, until the night I accepted a ride that I'll never forget. It was a slow Tuesday night and the app pinged around 11:30 p.m. The pickup location was on the outskirts of town, near an abandoned gas station. The area had a reputation, not for crime, but for ghost stories. Still, a job was a job. I hesitated for a moment but accepted. 30 minutes of driving would bring in good money, and I wasn't in the position to turn it down. When I arrived, the gas station looked exactly as eerie as I remembered from childhood stories. The peeling paint, shattered windows, and graffiti-covered walls stood in stark contrast to the silver glow of the moon. A lone figure stood by the road, motionless, their face obscured by a hood. I pulled up and rolled down the passenger side window. "Are you waiting for a ride?" The figure nodded slowly and slid into the back seat without saying a word. The app showed a generic address back in the city, about 30 minutes away. "Where are you headed?" I asked, trying to sound casual. No response. They just leaned back into the seat, their hood still covering their face. The silence was unnerving, but I chalked it up to them being tired or shy. "Late night, huh?" I tried again. "Long day?" Still nothing. As we drove, the atmosphere in the car grew heavier. The air felt colder, despite the heater being on. I glanced in the rearview mirror several times, but each look made my stomach churn. The passengers seemed to shift, their shadow distorting like smoke. I adjusted the mirror, forcing myself to focus on the road, but my hands gripped the wheel tighter. My unease turned into outright fear when I glanced back to address them directly. The seat was empty. My heart dropped and I slammed on the brakes. The car skidded to a stop in the middle of the dark, empty road. I turned fully to look at the back seat. It was empty. The app still showed the ride as active, the destination miles away. My mind raced, trying to make sense of what was happening. Had the passenger slipped out without me noticing? No, that was impossible. I hadn't stopped the car until now. As I sat there frozen, gripping the steering wheel, I felt it. A cold breath on the back of my neck. Every hair on my body stood on end. Slowly, I turned my head. There they were, sitting behind me again, their hoods still up, their face hidden. I'm sorry, I stammered. "Did I scare you? I thought you were gone." A raspy voice, barely above a whisper, said, "Keep driving." I didn't ask questions. I didn't even breathe for a moment. I just obeyed. My hands were shaking as I gripped the wheel and pressed the gas pedal. The road stretched endlessly ahead, the darkness swallowing the world beyond my headlights. I glanced at the mirror again, but this time, I refused to linger. After what felt like an eternity, the app announced that we had arrived. The address was an empty lot, overgrown with weeds and bordered by a rusted chain-link fence. There were no houses, no signs of life, just a void of desolation. I turned to the passenger, but the back seat was empty again. The seatbelt was still fastened, and the faint scent of something metallic lingered in the air. I stepped out of the car, my knees weak, and looked around the lot, calling out into the night. No one answered. Shaking, I ended the ride on the app and drove straight home, vowing never to pick up another passenger in that area again. The next morning, I checked the app to reassure myself that the whole thing had been some kind of mistake, but the ride history was gone. There was no record of the pickup, no payment, nothing. My curiosity got the better of me, and I started researching the address. What I found sent chills down my spine. Decades ago, the lot had been the site of a bus station. It burned to the ground in a tragic fire, killing dozens of people. Local legends claimed that some of the victims never left, wandering the area, waiting for rides that would never come. Now every time I drive late at night, I can't help but glance at the back seat, half expecting to see a hooded figure sitting there, waiting. And sometimes, when the road is quiet and the air feels heavy, I swear I hear it again, that faint whisper, "Keep driving."